Welcome to the Parker Daniels Show, where amazing stories are shared and hope is given.
Welcome to the Parker Daniels Show, where our motto is we make changes, no excuses. Today, we're going to be speaking with Trianna, and she will be talking about her story of dealing with being visually impaired and dealing with abusive relationships. You know, abusive relationships are not just limited to sighted world. For the record, people of all walks, creeds, colors, race, heights, etc., most times can and will be involved in an abusive relationship. So it's the case with this young lady here, who is visually impaired. She's lost some of her sight uh, due to glaucoma, but she has some light perception. So, without no more delay, let's bring on Trianna and listen as she explained to us how she deals with being visually impaired and her abusive relationships. Trianna, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and let them know a little bit about you?
Okay, hi everybody, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Trianna Kotera, and I was born visually impaired. I was born with this glaucoma. I have light perception in my left eye. I've got nothing in my right eye, but I still see light with my left eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how has things been as a blind person? Just briefly tell us, because we want to get into the topic, but just briefly tell us how has it been.
It's been okay as a blind person. I mean, I've been discriminated in the past before, just by simply going to amusement parks, just by simply getting on the school bus. I've been discriminated when I was in high school, but it's been okay. So I'm able to handle lots of discrimination when I'm blind. So I'm able to handle it. It's
So
nothing personal.
you're a tough girl, right?
I'm very tough.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the discussion and talk to the audience about your experiences you've had in the dating world. You had spoken to me a while back and told me about the three relationships that you've had, and they all really didn't turn out to be what you had thought them to be. So, um, explain to the audience how it was as far as dating. Basically, let's focus on the fact that as a blind person, was it easy to date, or were you kind of leery about dating because you didn't think people were going to date you as a blind person? How was that?
Well, it was pretty easy because I dated my own kind. I've dated my own, which is meaning blind and blind dates. I've mostly gone on blind dates. I've only had one partial sighted person that actually wanted to be with me, and then I've had one sighted person from my school who did supposedly like me, and then he ended up cheating on me. So, he never said it was because of my blindness, but it was because of some other reasons. So
Oh, okay.
he ended up cheating on me.
That's his loss then. So, tell us about the incidents briefly. Talk about each one, and how did you end up in those incidents, and how did you get yourself out of it, and what basically did you do to get out of it so that other people can use this as a stepping stool to just in case that they're in those situations. So go ahead. This is your show.
All right. Well, I have three incidents here. Only one of them wasn't physically abusive, but it was mentally abusive. And two of them were physically and mentally and emotionally abusive. So two of them have the whole packet. One of them didn't. So that one of them, I was only never allowed to eat pork. I was forced to change my religion from Christian to Jewish. I wasn't allowed to eat any pork. I wasn't allowed to eat bacon, and I wasn't allowed to talk to any male friends. And I was to do as he told, and I was to give him all my passwords from every application that I've had.
Wow. And I mean that was more so of a controlling issue. So how long did you stay in that relationship?
I stayed in there about a year. I stayed there about a year. We broke up, but when we broke up, it wasn't because I felt like I wanted to leave the relationship. but it was because he was a bit younger than me, and his mother was a bit racist towards me since I'm a Hispanic and he's a Caucasian.
Okay. Now, this relationship, I mean, did you at any point like tell anybody, or was it is not? It wasn't that severe to where you had to let everybody know that this individual was controlling and you needed a way out. What was going through your mind at the time?
Well, only my mother found out because obviously I live with the family. So they found out that I hadn't been eating any pork chops, that I hadn't been eating any pork belly, that I hadn't been eating any bacon. They were all questioning me. And I'm like, oh, at first I try to keep it isolated, like, oh, I just don't feel like it. I'm in a diet.
Mm.
But eventually I came forward and told the truth. Well, he told me not to eat pork. And I'm afraid if I eat pork, I'm going to lose him.
Okay, so it was that the fact that you were afraid to be alone.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay. Well, we are speaking with Trianna for those who just joined us, and she's talking about her visual impairment. She's talking about her abusive relationships, and the reason why I brought her on here is to help out not just the visually impaired, not just the blind, but just let y'all know that it does go on in the blind community, probably even worse. And just hopefully she can provide some ways and means of actually getting out the situation if you are in it. Let's go on to the second relationship.
The second relationship started in mid 2016 towards the beginning of 2017. This is where the physical part hit. But first, it was all good. It was all happy-go-lucky, whatever it was. It was nice. It was great. Like most relationships, they start out really nice. They sweep you off your feet. Well, then after getting to know this person at least for 5 months, that is when he began to manipulate me. When I asked for another glass of water, it picked me. And he was
okay, stop right there. Well, you were breaking up. You were asking about the water? What happened?
Sorry. I asked him if I can get another glass of water, and that is when he started getting physical and he started pinching. He said, "You're not getting any more water." And all over a glass of water, I was feeling very dehydrated.
Hmm. So how much of a control freak was this individual? I mean, and did he also use physical abuse as well?
Oh, he pinched me. He pinched me. So that's physical.
Right.
And well, in the first times he did sighted guide me like a normal, sighted guide. But in the other months, he would pull me by my collar of the shirt, very hard and aggressive.
Now, the audience probably will want to know why were you staying in these relationships again? Why were you subjecting yourself to being treated in this capacity?
The same old reason. I'm afraid to be alone. I'm been manipulated that if I leave him, nobody else is gonna ever want me.
Okay, and what actually happened toward the end? How did you get out of this relationship?
Well, that was through the help of my parents and the court. But first my parents, because after he took me to my eye doctor, I was told by my father that I've been reported missing. So then my mother showed this guy the police report paper.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that is when he got the message that I've been reported missing. So he got threatened to, you either take my daughter and come to jail or give me back my daughter. So he gave me back to my mom. We did not win the restraining order in the court because he deleted the back text saying, "I do not want to do this anymore. I feel intimidated." He deleted those things and only kept the good to make himself innocent. But he didn't want to go through the court experience, so that's how we got out of it.
Okay, you say he deleted the text that he showed the judge, and those were only the good parts. That's what you said.
He only left the good parts to make it seem like an innocent relationship.
Okay. Well, there was one of the relationships that you had said off camera, and I don't know if you want to repeat it, that you were really, that something really tragically happened to you. Do you just want to briefly touch on that? Because, it was a tragic situation. And, if you want to mention it to the people so that they will know that these things, people are devils, what I'm saying, in certain instances, and these things like that can happen. You want to mention that?
I'll mention that because I want to help other people like that think they still have their, virginity. Like, so what happened was he took me, to a hotel after after we were out at some dinner, I thought he was going to take me back to my dorm room where I belong so I can go to class again. But instead, he ended up taking me to a hotel. He did something that involved, I guess, taking my clothes off. And first, I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what was going in there. I thought it was a finger until I found out that what he did was rape me, because I didn't feel nothing, number one. And no, I did feel it, but I didn't feel the pleasure of whatever.
Right.
It wasn't in my approval. I said, I don't want to do it. I'm not ready. And he said, okay, I won't do it. He said, I'm just doing something. Well, little did I know that something was, I guess, rape. That's what I call it.
Wow. And I'm sorry to hear about that. So at this point, did you think that, maybe this was my time to not really get involved, not just take some time off for myself? Because some people might say, well, hey, she didn't learn from the first one. She's getting back, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what would you say to that situation in terms of, you getting back into another relationship where you just got out of an abusive one?
I'd say that I still have a strongest heart. I don't give up on love. I still say that I know that there are good men out there. I just have to try to find the right one. I don't believe giving up is the answer, because we're not getting any younger.
Okay. Well, briefly tell us about the third incident that happened to you, and how did you get out of that one?
The third one, which is the last one, we started dating the end of 2018. Well, in 2018 actually. We met in college, and again, like every relationship starts out in a happy fairy tale beginning. Then again, 7 months into it, well, after he met my family and everything else, that's when he started becoming controlling. Like, when a male friend would talk to me, he would get highly upset. A sighted friend would tell me, hey, he got very upset. He has this jealous look. I'm like, what? So a sighted friend would tell me what his looks are like when I talk to a male friend just as a friend. And then what ended the relationship is we went out to the bar. If you guys are not familiar, if you guys are in the Los Angeles area, may be familiar with Dave and Buster's. We went out to the bar with some friends, and we were all cracking some jokes, and I said something that our friends thought it was pretty funny, but he didn't. He ended up hitting me with his elbow on the thigh and the rib cage, nearly hitting me with his drink. And then the friend and the husband were like, "Is that necessary?" And then just because I refused a second beer, he hit me again.
Wow. So the majority of these relationships were more so abusive relationships, right?
Yes, more abusive, more controlling, everything.
So though the fact that some of these relationships were individuals who couldn't see, do you think that maybe, and I'm just play devil's advocate, that as a person, did you think that you were attracting these type of people, or from the fact that something may stem in your past, or it's just that people were just taking advantage of your kindness?
I think, well, number one, it's kind of both. I don't believe I can ever date somebody who's fully sighted, even though I've already done one, but he cheated, because I feel like they might judge me for everything I do. And number two, I feel like they might be a little more controlling than more, but everybody's controlling in their own perspective. And number two, yeah, I am a very humble person. I do have a kind heart. I even gave my users my last dollar. Yeah, they take advantage of my kindness.
So with that being said, as we come to the conclusion, because I wish we can go more into it, and I'm glad that you were able just to touch on it and let the people know, about the abuse that you've taken, and that you are not going to take anymore. But just as far as provide some type of information in terms of what have you learned out of these relationships as a visually impaired person, one, and just as a person in general that can help other people that are in the situation.
Now I learned not only from my own experience, but from great, amazing friends out there. Think with your mind and your gut, not your heart. If something in your gut is telling you that you're being manipulated, or he or she is controlling you, that you're the property instead of a lover, run. I know it's easier said than done, but nobody else wants to end up in the situation that I did, because it's not very pretty. Just run. It's not worth it.
And briefly now, tell us about the relationship that you want to keep that on the wraps.
The relationship, what?
That you're in now, or are you pursuing anything right now, or are you just trying to just lay low and just trying to look, take care of yourself? What are you doing as far as, are you dating?
Yeah, I don't want to blur out his name for if some people may get jealous and just try to look for his name. So I'm only going to say this. I'm dating a guy from England. And he's 31 years old. That's all I'm going to say. And,
Okay, well, with that, we're not going to, we're going to keep it under wraps. But one thing I want to tell you that I appreciate you coming on here and just sharing your stories to let everyone know that abuse is not just concentrated, as I mentioned in the top, it's not just concentrated to the sighted world, and not to boast about being abused. Just, I'm glad that you were able to come and shed some light and hopes of, letting everyone know that, like you said in the end, about people who you feel may be abusive, the things that they say and the things that they do in order to not get into that relationship. So with that being said, Trianna, do you have any last words of encouragement? I'm quite sure you do, that individuals could take and use in their daily lives.
My encouragement is, don't give up. You'll find the right one. If you want to continue to love, go for it. But all I'm going to say is, if you feel abused in any type of way, and your gut and your mind is telling you to leave, and the only one that's telling you no is your heart, the hardest part is you're going to have to listen to your mind and gut, and you're going to have to leave. Don't give up on love, but give up on those who want to manipulate you and have it only their way, and your way means nothing.
Wow, that's enough said, and I hope a lot of people take that into consideration and definitely use that in their daily living. So with that being said, I want the audience to continue to subscribe, hit the notification bell, so that you can get updates on important, very enlightening stories, touching stories, stories that make sense, stories that mean a great deal, such as this. And I want to thank Trianna for actually coming on. Definitely share this video once you viewed it. Hit the likes, thumbs up, do everything it takes to make this channel work for me and you and other people. So Trianna, again, I want to thank you for actually coming on the show and showing your love and what have you. So with that being said, you have any final words?
And the final words is, not really.
Not really. Well, tell the people thanks for why they should subscribe to the Parker Daniel Show, right? Well, you can do that.
Oh yeah, okay. People, you guys should subscribe to the Parker/Daniel Show, because it's amazing. You not only get to hear about me and my life story, you get to hear about other blind people. For example, of their singing, of their music, of all the different things. And so it's an amazing show, and that's why I'm subscribed to it.
Thank you so much, and take care of yourself, and I wish you the best of luck, Trianna.
All right, thank you.
Okay.